Today's video is going to be a quick one all about the winter essential items that I use to fight the elements every winter and stay warm. I'm from a very cold part of the States. I lived in New York City for 7 years and now I travel 90% of the time. So I'm constantly bouncing between all these different elements. So I figured this would be a good video to make to give you just a little bit of inspiration if you are not sure what to have in your winter wardrobe when keeping warm, and really what you should just stock up on. Before we get into it, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button down below to get more style content by me every week. And of course, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and let's just get right into it. All of these items are going to be very functional. They're going to be practical. I'm not really going for like what's the most stylish winter essential item out there. I'm really focusing on what's going to keep you warm first, and of course the style will follow. First, I'm going to recommend a thermal shirt. A thermal is going to provide you with an additional layer of insulation, and it's also going to help you retain heat in those colder temperatures. I recently said in another video that I didn't feel like a thermal was necessary for me, and I was highly mistaken. I was gifted a thermal shirt just from a family member, and I wear it every morning on my winter walks. I wear it underneath my sweaters if it's really cold out, so I really, really like it, and I think everybody should have one. There's a lot of thermal shirt options out there, but by far one of the most popular and most affordable ones is the Heat Tech line from Uniqlo. They have a ton of different styles, not just with shirts, but they have socks and leggings and stuff like that. Thermals can be worn either as a layering element or they can be worn on their own, just depending on the temperature. But trust me when I say that you're very much going to enjoy that extra layer of warmth and comfort with a thermal, so definitely get your hands on one. Now let's talk about how to keep your head and your ears warm. Now I know earmuffs are a thing. I don't really like an earmuff just because I feel like I need a little bit more coverage than just my ears, like my head gets very cold. So I'll typically opt for a warm beanie, or a headband is actually one of my favorite things as well, like a thicker one that goes around the top of your head. A cashmere beanie or a cashmere headband is really the way to go. And that might make it seem like you have to spend a lot to get one of these items, but you really don't. There's so many good cashmere options out there. Quince, of course, has a lot of really cute cashmere beanies and headbands at a really, really great price. But if cashmere isn't your jam, I would recommend either a wool beanie or headband or just a standard fleece one. I feel like that really helps keep a lot of the heat in as well. I actually recommend having both on deck, both a heanie and a bedband. I recommend having both a beanie and a headband on deck because if I'm having a good hair day and I don't want to mess up my hair with a beanie, I'll typically just put the headband on, and if you maneuver it the right way, you won't really mess up your hair that bad. Next, I'm going to talk about gloves. I'm actually very passionate about gloves just because when I lived in New York City, I was walking everywhere all the time. And of course, like you're on your phone or you're looking through your bag, like your hands are out in the elements all the time. So I'm very passionate about gloves. So similar to the hats, cashmere and wool are going to be really good options for gloves. And another really smart glove option is actually leather gloves that are lined with cashmere. These can be a little bit more pricey. I've been seeing them around 40 to 50 bucks, but I do think they're a really good investment piece. So I do find them to be worth it, and you'll have them for years and years, and they're just never gonna go out of style. And of course, they're gonna keep your hands very toasty, which we love. Another good thing about leather gloves is they're gonna give you a little bit better of a grip than a cashmere or a wool glove will that is, you know, like softer fabric, and you're not gonna be able to do as much with them. But these are just some options to keep your hands warm. Really, the options are endless, but I do recommend getting something that is going to have some type of insulation to it. And of course, don't forget about your hand warmers as well. I always have a couple of them in my bag just in case my hands get a little too cold because not everything is perfect. Hand warmers help. So next is a really good winter coat. Now, I know this might seem a little bit obvious, like, duh, Hailey, I know I need a winter coat. It's cold outside, da da da. But there are certain things that you're gonna wanna remember when you're buying a winter coat that is gonna keep you warm, that's gonna last throughout the years, and of course is gonna make you look cute. I go more in depth in this video that I'll put right here, which is all about my favorite winter coats. But the main gist that you would see in that video is that I recommend either a wool blend coat or an insulated coat, which again, watch the video and you'll see the differences and the specific ones that I recommend. Or you can have both, which is what I have. The video does show you a lot of affordable options, so you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds on a coat that is going to keep you warm. I won't go on and on here, but what you want to look for is waterproof, wind resistant, insulated coats. Those are really going to be your best bet when it comes to an essential winter coat that is going to keep you warm. Next up, we have scarves. We cannot forget about the scarf. I love breaking out my scarves in the winter time. I have 2 wool ones that I'm just obsessed with. I got them in Ireland a few years ago and they have just served me so well throughout the years. Now, I like to look for a scarf that often doubles as a shawl, so something just with a little bit more surface area. And that's because I like to bring it with me depending on where I'm going and use it as a wrap. Maybe I'm at the movies or when I'm traveling, I bring it all the time. I'll actually wrap it up and use it as a pillow when I'm on an airplane. Like, you can do so much with a little bit of a wider, or yeah, like a little bit of a wider scarf. I recommend a wool or a cashmere scarf, or I recommend just something that you can double as a shawl, like I said. Scarves are going to serve you as not only a fashionable accessory, but a very functional one as well. It is going to keep you warm. But definitely don't discount what they can do for your outfit, because I do think that they can elevate it to a certain level as opposed to if you weren't wearing a scarf. The next winter essential I'm going to recommend is wool socks. Can you guys see a pattern here with the wool, the cashmere? We're starting to learn what fabrics are going to be best for the winter time. Nothing sucks more than cold feet and cold toes. So there's 2 things to, of course, consider to make sure we avoid that, which is socks and shoes. So we're gonna talk about the socks first, and then the next tip we'll talk about some shoes. A nice merino wool sock is what's gonna serve you the best. That's really gonna be your key to keeping your feet warm in the winter. Merino wool is super soft, it's super cozy. I'm a really big fan of Bombas. All my socks are from there. And other than wool, this is also where I go back to recommending the Uniqlo Heat Tech products, which do offer quite a few socks as well. So definitely make sure you get yourself a few pairs of wool socks to rotate throughout the winter time to make sure your feet stay warm. Nobody likes cold feet. My last recommendation for these winter essentials is going to be a winter-proof boot. I'm a firm believer in waterproofing my boots for the winter. Like, not everything I have is made to, trek through the snow. I have a lot of like high-heeled boots and leather boots and things like that. And I think one of the most important things to winter-proof your boots is just waterproofing them. I'll link one of my favorite waterproof sprays down below in the description box. It's really easy and it's a great way to protect your boots all winter. And there are also so many options on the market right now for boots that are already waterproof when you get them. There's this pair from Vivea, which is super cute and waterproof, which is nice. Or you can always opt for a classic rain boot. And with the right sock, like the ones I just mentioned, your feet are going to be totally fine in the winter. But if you do want to maximize your warmth, like if that is your goal, I would recommend going for a more sturdy boot. So like these lined boots from Clarks. It just depends on how functional you want the boots to be, but I think waterproofing them is absolutely the bare minimum you want to do to make sure that your shoes are going to last throughout the winter and that your feet are not going to be super cold, especially if the shoe gets wet. That is what I recommend for winter essentials when it comes to winterproofing your boots. All right, you guys, that is the end of the video. Leave a comment down below with which winter essential you cannot live without, or which one that you are excited to add to your wardrobe from this list. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.